Hey, what up, everybody? It's Hoppy. I've been taking a break. I got to take a break for myself, but I watched this movie, The Disaster Artist, and I relate to this movie so hardcore because Tommy Wiseau, he was rich as fuck. I'm not. I'm broke at this point, but everybody hated on him, man. Everybody just made fun at him, laughed at him, all that shit, thought he was crazy. And he ended up making a movie, and he spent $5 million of his money on this shit. I ain't got no money. So that's definitely the deficit I got to his situation. But he ended up making a profit on that film, even though it only made $18,000 for 2 weeks at the theaters after he dropped $5 million on that shit. But you give me $30,000, I'll make a proper goddamn horror movie. And it gives me a little motivation, keep chasing your dream and all that. Because after I got banned from Twitter, what the fuck, man? I ain't got no audience. So start from scratch again, 4-year ride, all that shit. Got Hollywood attention, now we back to ground zero. So gotta keep working. I'm damn near 40, still cooking shit for rich people for nothing, and that shit's disheartening, man. It's hard, but one of my homies was like, how many people lived slave lives in Rome or America in the past, or Russians was first slaves. Slave come from Slav, which is the Russians. Everybody hating on the Russians now, which maybe the government doing some fucked up shit, but the people there are cool. So, I've always said war, there ain't no good bad guys, but the bad guys are both people in charge of both countries at war. The good guys is everybody out there killing each other. It's fucked up. But I'm going to keep going on this thing, and I don't know, right now I'm at a position where do I do another short film trying to sell a feature, or do I just bite down and try to make a feature film? But I've had directors say they tried to do a feature too early with too little resources, and they fucked their shit up. So I'm more than likely just going to do another short film for a feature that I got, solid as Capone. What I was on track to do before everything fell apart. So Phoenix rises from the ashes. We don't try to do this shit. But the world is circling in the drain right now. The humans are fucked up. Like, everything's about to go into chaos. So at least we got a show to watch. We might all end up starving to death or be killed by killer drones or AI or some shit like that. But, at least we got a goddamn crazy show to watch, even if we don't make it. So that's the way I'm trying to look at it. I love y'all, man. I miss everybody. D-Rob, Jody B, Ray, Naked Porch Podcast. That's my 3 dudes off Twitter, for real. But, I love y'all. I'll get through this shit. That's kind of how my life goes. Like, I go down and out. Before I did Mother Frosty, I was homeless in 2015. Come back, got that shit done. So
you are now listening to Random Ramblings with Rob. Yay! Yay! Yeah.
What up, everybody? This is your boy B-Rob, and I'm back with another late edition of the Random Realms with Rob podcast. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you, the listener, for coming back each and every week, or however you listen to podcasts. You might be downloading your normal routine of podcasts on a Sunday and notice that mine wasn't in the rotation because here I am on a Monday night venturing into Tuesday morning recording this episode because, if you're a first-time listener, I'd like to appreciate you. I will appreciate you. I appreciate you for giving my show a try. I guess it really doesn't matter whenever you listen to this because, I don't think too many people listen to the episodes as they come out live or whatever. It's not like I'm doing this on air or Facebook Live or some shit like that. So I guess it really doesn't matter. I go with that date and shit again. So, but anyway, nonetheless, however you hear my voice right now, I appreciate you for doing it. Put me in your earbuds, your over the head headphones, your goddamn aux cord to your freaking radio in your car, your aux cord to your portable music system or whatever the case may be. I'm just making up stuff as I go. But appreciate you. Solo episode today because a series of unfortunate events fell upon me over this past week and whatnot. I mean, nothing dire. It's just third world problems for the most part. There was a outage in my neighborhood or whatever, power outage. So it knocked out a section of my neighborhood's internet. I was without internet for 5 days. And I was talking to one of my homeboys about it and everything. And he was just like, damn, how did you live for that long without the internet? And what I noticed is I really didn't need it. You know, I mean, it's convenient. It's awesome to have the fucking internet, especially like I've been on this drawing kick now. If you've been following me on social media, which you can do at It's B Rob, that's ITSBROB, or at 3R Show, or if you type up Random Realms with Rob on Instagram, which I really wish I could get the 3R Show tag for that, the username, but there's some bitch ass motherfucker that has it already. And he only has 2 posts, or she. Yeah, you can be a bitch ass motherfucker and be a girl too. And yeah, they won't answer my direct messages. I tried to report them. I tried to get them as spam. I tried to get that name so bad, and I'm pretty bitter about it. But once again, I apologize for my misdirection and hate, because I shouldn't hate nobody because of that. Here I am over 2 years in podcasting, and what I think within a year or so now, I just changed it or shortened it down to 3R Show. If you've been hanging with me for a while, you know previously the Twitter handle was RRRPC. Oh no, it was, damn, I forgot what my old shit was. That used to be my sign off for so long, and damn, I fucking forgot it was RRR. Wait for it. _ podcast. Or some shit like that. I know the hashtag was RRR PC. So yeah, that's what confused me and whatnot. But yeah, man, I changed it so you wouldn't have to do that. But a lot of people like the little hook, the ridiculousness of the RRR _ podcast. But you know, man, I had to go ahead and usher it off into that good night and whatnot and everything. But yeah, solo episode, no guests. I was without the internet, so I was supposed to have Tony Rager on with me. He shot me some words on Instagram saying he wanted to jump on. We were supposed to do it this weekend. Internet was out and couldn't make that happen. And what was fucked up about it was we was without internet for 5 days. It came yesterday on a Sunday, fixed it just in time for me to watch goddamn Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And dude came to the house. He didn't even go in the house to fix the internet. He did what he had to do on the outside, and all he had to do was wait for me to bring my ass home to confirm that the internet was working inside the house. Because when he called me, he was supposed to be there between hours of 12 and 4 p.m. So at 11:30, I decided to get my ass up and go to Home Depot and get some lumber and some nails and screws and shit, because I just broke ground in the garage and I'm about to start building my little room, my little podcast studio or whatever, which Mrs. B Rob is kind of not thrilled about because she doesn't see the vision. I mean, it's a rather small space because, I mean, it's a 2-car garage and I'm taking up like the right corner of it. I think it's like lengthwise from the back wall to the furthest point to where the assembly for the garage door stops. I think it's maybe 12 feet or something like that total. 12 feet long, 7 feet wide. So she's like, you got a lot of shit and that's not a lot of room for you. But what she failed to realize is, you know, I'm going to mount the TV on the wall. I have a shelf that'll go under that TV to house my Xbox and my PlayStation. So that's pretty much it there. And then the only other piece of furniture I got is the desk that'll house my laptop and the mixer and the microphone and a motherfucking rolly chair. That's all I got as far as furniture and whatnot. So damn, she don't think that 12 by 7 foot space is gonna seat me comfortably. And she did offer the whole garage. And I look at it as this is baby steps because I'm actually doing the work myself, and I've never done anything like this before. So this is kind of like a teaser, a little preview, a little, just dipping my toe in to see, what my handyman skills, what my architectural skills is like and whatnot. I mean, I might have some supervision. My father, he gonna come back, which within this past week, my mother and my father came up and stayed with us for the week and everything and hung out. So that was cool. But me and him was game planning the whole time he was here. So I went and got some lumber yesterday. I got the screws and everything. Bought me a leveler, a saw, and I'm ready to put in the work. So we're gonna get that space put up together maybe this weekend. I'm gonna go buy the last bit of lumber I need and a door. And we're going to slap that thing together. As far as putting the walls up, I don't think that'll be the hard part. It's just choosing the goddamn materials to surround the framing with, as far as the drywall and the insulation and whatnot, because I want to trap in a lot of sound in that space and possibly block out as much sound as I can, because just building this little one space inside the garage, it would still be enough room for another car to fit in there, which, that's the reason I wanted to do it that size and only take up that portion of the garage, because I still want Mrs. B. Rob to be able to park her car in the garage. Now, her concerns, not only with the size of the space that I'm looking to build, but just that, what I said, I'm going to be in there trying to record, and what if she have to leave to go to work or some shit? Because typically, when she leaves to go to work, that's about the time I go start my recordings. That's how I structure my schedule. So, I'm here with her as long as she's home, and then I go to record when she's getting ready to leave. So, I spend as much time with her as I can while she off work and everything. So her concern was, all right, you're going to be in there in the garage. You ain't going to get exhausted out in there. I'm going to start the car and everything, or even that in itself, me starting the car, that's not going to distract you from your recording or, disrupt the flow, be caught on the audio, So that was her concern, her freaking killing me by carbon monoxide poison and goddamn her disturbing my recordings if she had to come in and out the garage from when she leave and everything. So I was just like, okay, you don't start the car and let it run in the garage. You open up the fucking garage door, you start that bitch and you drive the hell off. Summertime, that's not a big issue because damn, she don't need to fucking warm the car up. She just start that bitch up, get in, put a seatbelt on, close the door, back the fuck out the garage. That's not going to take a lot of time. But wintertime, that may be another concern. And, she's even said to where, I could have the whole garage and she would just park in the driveway, put a car cover on the car. I bought her a car cover because, the garage is in shambles right now. I got shit all over the place. I cleared out the section to where we're going to be building the structure and everything. So she's been parking in the driveway and I bought her a car cover. And the only time the motherfucking car cover has been on the car is when I put the motherfucker on there when I first bought it. The car cover never been on that bitch ever since. So me wanting to take care of her car, the van, the big red machine, that's the fucking battle wagon and shit. And, that thing is lost the bumper, a tail light, it's been hit. I hit people and all kind of shit in that motherfucker. So, there's not too much to save, but she barely drives a car unless it's to work, which her work is not far from the house. And so that's the running car, that's the show car and everything. So try to take care of that one. So I want her, we'll be braving the elements, this extreme heat, 100+ degree weather with humidity, and goddamn some of this winter weather, and whatever could be freezing temperatures. I'd like to have our car in the garage where it's protected. So I don't know. We just gonna have to fill it out. And then her other concern was ventilation, AC, heat in the garage. I found a unit that I wanted. Is a small unit for smaller spaces. Is like its own central air. It does heat and it does cooling. Costs about anywhere between $550 to $1,000 depending on the unit you get. Name brand shit, because they got Mitsubishi that make one, and then they got the other sub brands and whatnot. So I found this thing, and I'm gonna have somebody install it, because they're gonna have to actually drill. We're gonna mount it on the wall. I can do that. And then drill through the fucking house, through the drywall, through the wood, through the fucking brick to the outside, so they can put the condensation unit on the outside. So that's simple for somebody else. So I'll have that space cooled, 12 by fucking 7 space, fucking chilling and with warmth in the winter, because we had those things in Iraq and Afghanistan, those little cooling units in our little tin spaces, which depending on if it was a 2-man or whatever, which is pretty much almost the dimensions of what this space will be. It's a little smaller, but it's roughly the same shit. So those things cool that area very nicely. I was very comfortable whenever I was fortunate enough to have one of those units in my living area. So, I'm down with having something like that. And then now, other than those concerns, putting the wall up, putting the drywall on and everything, my only other concern is the electricity. I'm going to have to get a professional to come in there, and then I got to game plan how I'm going to put my fucking outlets in that bitch. Because there's 2 existing walls in there. We're just creating 2 walls to partition off this space. So majority of the plugs I foresee would be in the new walls. So I won't be busting up holes in the existing walls and going through all that hullabaloo of putting that shit together. So a lot of outlets on those 2 walls, and maybe doing some some external freaking plugs, like how you see in a lot of garages and everything, external outlets on the wall, on the drywall itself for the existing walls. Because I don't know if I want to hang light fixtures in there or just have a dedicated light switch and I just throw some lamps in that bitch. So, there's plenty of options. But yeah, that's the progress so far. I got the lumber, I got the tools. I just need an impact so we can anchor the framework to the concrete and everything. I know you probably, if you cut it snug enough, you might not need that, but I believe wholeheartedly that's going to be a good idea, because I'll probably be clumsy ass drunk one night and fucking trip, run into the motherfucking wall and slide all that shit and then hit and fall and crumble on Mrs. B. Rob car, and that'd be a bad day for me. But yeah. All right, so internet went out. Parents was visiting for a whole week. That was cool. My dad, I see where I get it from. That motherfucker don't sit still. On the opposite end of the spectrum, my mama sits still. She don't never go nowhere. She just sit in her goddamn recliner and just chill the fuck out, watch HSN and QVC and all that shit and be ordering all kind of junk. But my father, that motherfucker do not sit still. And I can call him a motherfucker because he fucked my mother, and that's how I got here. I hope none of my relatives is listening to this, because they probably find that highly offensive. Happy Father's Day. Yeah. So anyway, he came, and they enjoyed it. The temperature inside the house is a little cool for their taste. They was in here say freezing, so they spent a lot of time in the backyard out there on the pool deck and whatnot, and they just enjoyed just hanging with us. The grandkids was here, my kids, some of which they barely saw except for the baby, because the baby leaves the room. The other two just stay in there and fucking play Xbox and be on their phone and all this other bullshit. But they like to sit out there by the pool and watch the water and everything. I was out there doing some yard work. I was weed eating and picking up some tree limbs and all kind of shit. And I come back to the backyard. My daddy back there cleaning my goddamn pool. I was like, Pop, you want to sit your ass down? I didn't say that to him because, respect. This is my motherfucking daddy. This is my parent. But in my head, I was like, if you don't sit your old ass down and let me do this shit, you visiting, I'm supposed to be taking care of you and letting you relax, but you in here cleaning my motherfucking pool, but it was too late by then and he was damn near done. So I just let him finish it off. And then I went to work one day and he went out in the garage and started drilling holes in the motherfucking concrete for where we supposed to anchor the studs. I was like, Pop, if you don't sit your motherfucking ass down, once again, internally, I didn't say it out loud because respect. And yeah, so that was crazy. And then there's like a clash of styles with me and my pop because, he has the veteran experience. I know nothing. Well, I know a little bit about something, but I don't know a lot about nothing. And when it was coming to the materials to build this structure, I was opting to go with the aluminum studs, the aluminum framing, because, it was a little bit cheaper and it was real simple to do. It was pretty much like Legos. All I had to do was mount the top, mount the bottom, and I could slide the studs in there wherever I needed them and then drywall on top. Boom, bam, and it was done. But he was, really campaigning for me to, just go get some lumber and everything and we do it that way. But, my whole thing was like, I didn't feel like nailing all this shit and doing all this extra stuff. From what I've researched and seen with the metal studs is just some screws. Pss, pss, pss. It seemed a lot easier to me, which in hindsight is probably would be the same amount of work and everything. It's just the aluminum studs and everything provides more flexibility as far as placing your studs in there. With the wood, I got to measure, cut, nail it together, put the frame up, or, however I decide to go about that. So to me, the aluminum shit was easier. So now me and Pop running back and forth to motherfucking Lowe's and goddamn Home Depot and all this other bullshit. And we looking for the rest of the metal framework because I only got the top and bottom supports. And I was just going to go ahead and get the other stuff. And I was selling them on it. I was trying to pitch it. Like, Pop, we could do this shit. We could do it this way, blah, yada, yada. And he's like, nah, man, you sure you want to do it this way? Giving me enough rope to hang myself. You sure you want to do it like this? Because, man, it ain't going to take no time. We can get some 2x4s and just plop, 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 put it together. I was like, I don't know, Pop. I mean, it seems a lot easier to me, yada, yada, yada. So we get one of the professionals up in there in motherfucking Home Depot. And I just pretty much laid it out to him. I was like, my Pop, old school. He want to go with the wood studs. I'm a little bit of a new school. I want to go with the aluminum studs. Asked his professional opinion, and he was like, well, what's commonly used now for smaller projects is the aluminum shit. Boom. 1 point for me, because I was like, yeah, motherfucker, small project. That's what this is. Aluminum. Let's load it up in the goddamn van. And then he's like, but depending on what you're trying to do, lumber, is the low bearing material that you get. You be able to mount things on the wall with that aluminum stuff. You won't be able to mount things. I mean, there's certain techniques you can use to mount things on the wall, but it's going to be a little more difficult because it's just pretty much, for partitions and smaller things. He's like, you get lumber in there. I mean, yeah, you fucking run the risk of shit warping and all kind of other bullshit, but damn, you can mount shit to that because it's strong. It's, is made for that shit. I think it's raining outside. Damn, it's storming. Anyway, and I was like, fuck, yeah, I'm gonna have to mount my TV. I plan on getting some more computer equipment and mounting monitors on the wall, maybe some speakers. I got shelves because I got to put my pop vinyls up, and I got fellow podcasters merchandise, all kind of stuff that I want to display in my little area, pictures. I might be wanting to put some other things I want to mount on the wall. So I was like, fuck, that's like 2-3 points for lumber. And then my pop over there, not saying nothing, but he got the look on his face like, I'm trying to tell you, son. And I was like, motherfucker. I was like, all right, God damn it. We're going to go with the goddamn wood. We're going to go with the lumber. We're going to be slanging wood in this bitch. So, yeah, I went ahead and got the lumber yesterday. I did a couple pre-cuts and everything, which I fucked up one piece. So I'm going to use that as a, spare wood and everything because I know I had to do my freaking fire blocks and all kind of stuff between the studs and all this other bullshit I'm going to have to worry about that I've researched that I've never done before, which, no, that's fault to myself, being a young, kid and everything. And my father knows how to do all this stuff. He built houses and sheds and, additions to our home. And he was the type of person to break shit so you know how to put it back together, So, I mean, Pop can do anything, and he tried to teach me that shit. He tried to show me the things. He didn't force it on me, but, he would ask for help, so I could see what he was doing and all kind of things like that. But, me being the way I was, spoiled, rotten, I was just like, well, why are you teaching me how to do it when you can just do it? Or, I could pay somebody to do that shit or whatever. But, hindsight, regretting that shit. I know I possess the skill because it's some things that I've tried on my own that, I watched him do. And, it wasn't like the best of things, but, it came out, manageable. It came out, good, decent, And I feel like if I would have paid more attention as a kid, I would have had a better grasp on this shit, and I wouldn't be going through the bullshit. The damn shit would have been done already, I wouldn't be having to have my 86-year-old father in here fucking be the foreman while I'm doing some shit, So, yeah. But, hey, that's what I did. That was my fault. It's all on me for not paying attention or not, seeking that knowledge. But it's all good. I'm still learning, Every day is a learning moment, is a teaching lesson and everything. So, I can only get better from here, right? And then Mom was here doing pretty much the same thing she would do at the house. Just sit. She found her recliner here at the house and sat in that bitch and fell asleep. But, back to the internet thing, without internet, within that 5 days, they were still here. And, it was apparent to me how reliant everybody is on the internet. Cause they wanted to watch TV and a lot of the stuff we had, like the Netflix shit or some of the TV shows on Hulu, we got 1,196 motherfucking movies in this goddamn house. And they was worried and complaining about the motherfucking internet or whatever. I was like, go watch a goddamn movie. There's 2 viewing rooms in this bitch. Go watch a goddamn movie somewhere. And they were just complaining, I can't watch my stories. I can't watch Love and Hip Hop and all this other bullshit, But me, I was straight, It's just like I had my phone. And if, like I was saying earlier, I've been doing a lot of this digital artwork on my iPad. And, sometimes I get on Google or some shit and I do Google Images and I search things that I possibly want to try to draw. And, it was inconvenient there that I couldn't hook my iPad to the internet and, get on Google. So I had to download the shit on my phone, then airdrop it to my device. But, that's like a minor inconvenience, Wrestling, I still love it, but I just haven't been watching it enough lately to really give a shit, I guess. I'm aware of what's going on, but I haven't seen it live with my own eyes. And the only thing that I would really want to, that really kind of deterred me was, I wanted to watch NXT TakeOver on Saturday. But I couldn't do that because the internet was down. And, I could have used the data on my phone and everything. But I took this as time to, be like, the kids are gone. The kids are away for the summer, or at least for a couple weeks. And me and Ms. B-Rob got the house to ourselves. So I took this as time to, for us to, just kind of reconnect and hang out and just chill, have the house be quiet and whatnot. And we didn't need the internet to do that because we were just enjoying each other's company. We went out and got some grub at Red Robin's, which I say is her restaurant because I call her Robin. That's her name, So, it was cool. We had movies that I bought from the plug at Games Plus. I get my new releases for $15 with a military discount. So I went and got a handful of movies and we just laid up in the bed, watched movies, and just chilled, man. It was good to relax, have it be quiet. It's just like it was a point in time to where we came in the house, we closed the door. I put the keys down on the counter where I normally do, and it was just like silence, and I was like, this is fucking crazy. But yeah, that was cool. And another inconvenience was I couldn't do the podcast with my guests. That was another drawback from not having the internet. But I feel like if I really, really, really wanted to, I probably could have pulled it off. I probably could have plugged my phone into the mixer and did Skype from my phone, with him. But I was just like, man, is he going anywhere? Are people going anywhere? Is this motherfucking Avengers Infinity War? Did Thanos do the snap and half of you motherfuckers is gone? Or whatnot. I was like, man, we got plenty of time to do this. I know life can be short for some people. Dude, the rapper, and I'm not being disrespectful. I mean, I heard of Dude. I seen the name on paper. The Triple X Tension or whatever the fuck his name was. That dude is dead now. 20 fucking years old. Got shot up over a fucking Gucci or Louis handbag or some shit. And that's fucking sad, man. And, despite, of my previous comments before, about, these young guys and their new age music, they fucking tattoos on their face, they dreaded up hair, they colored hair, and just the quality of music or entertainment they provide, it's funny sometimes to get on people because of that, because legitimately a lot of some of that shit is garbage, man. It's just like motherfucker is literally over a tight beat, but music shit aside, minus my personal opinion about that, no 20-year-old should be gunned down over a motherfucking handbag. I don't know anything about this guy other than he was a rapper. I don't know what his family life was like. I don't know how he came up. I don't know if he was just doing shit in the street that he wasn't supposed to be doing. I've heard, it may or may not be fact that he had allegations on him for assault on a girl or whatever. I don't know if those are true or were true or whatever. I mean, I know nothing about this dude for me to form any hateful opinions or thoughts on this guy. But the only thing I can say is fucking sad that, if his parents are still alive or whoever raised and took care of this kid had to put him in the dirt. I think that's the worst feeling as a parent or, somebody close to you, that, somebody that raised you. I think that's the worst feeling in the world, to bury your child before you go, I mean, to be alive, to watch your child die before you, my father, 86 years old. My mom was 76 years old. I just lost my grandmother last month, 93 years old, and I know the day is coming for my parents. My grandfather is dead. My mother's father is dead. My father's mother and his father is dead. I didn't get to meet my dad's dad, but I got to meet his mom, my grandmother. I had all these people in my life, and they all dead, and the only ones that are really left are my mother and father. And it's going to be coming to a day to where I'm gonna have to put them down You know, I mean, I can say now here as I record this that I'm prepared for it, but I know when it actually happens, you know, that's going to be a whole different story. But if something was to happen to me, you know, like whatever, I know that'll be, you know, really a blow to them, you know, knowing that they've been alive 76 years and 86 years, raised me for 36 years, or, you know, been in my life for that long. And for me to go before them, you know, it's fucking horrible to think about, man. And then, you know, my father's been through that already twice. And, you know, I lost, you know, a sister, 2 sisters, you know, and, you know, that's his kids, you know, and he had to endure that twice already, you know. So, yeah, bottom line, shit fucking sucks. You know, I just listened to, you know, an Awakening podcast, the Po' Boys podcast with that motherfucker Jody B. His guest was Joe Moffett. And, you know, Joe Moffett is a comedian. Jody B., you know, he can get, I think his style, you know, the way he does his podcast is, you know, is good. And it's crazy to watch him grow as a podcaster because, you know, he went, I first come across Jody B from the Passers By podcast. It is a podcast that's no longer around with Matt. And I first heard of Jody B because he was on there telling his story, how this motherfucker got shot in the face. Shot in the face. And is still alive to this day, you know, thriving, you know, married, has his first child and everything, and being a pop, you know. And I heard his story, and then to see him go from, you know, listening to being a guest to damn being an actual podcaster. I mean, it's been a great metamorphosis, and I believe he does very good work with his show, and it's just his style of interview and just, you know, where he pulls his freaking questions from and his thoughts and his opinions and everything. It's a really good show. You should be listening to it. It's the Po' Boys podcast starring Jody B. But anyway, these two, you know, when Joe Moffett get on the mic, you know, he's a comedian and he's a funny dude, and I've had the pleasure of doing a 3-hour podcast with this motherfucker, just, you know, just talking about random bullshit as you do. Shout out to Mike Went. And but when Joe was doing this podcast, and he even said this on this recent edition of the Po' Boys podcast, you know, he had to kind of step away from it because, you know, it wasn't coming from a place that's like comedy because he's a comedian, but it was just like serious shit, you know, social issues, you know, the plight of the black man, you know, how we get done dirty, just real life shit, you know, which I tend to, you know, shy away from because, you know, if anybody's listening to my show, you know, I want it to be fun, lighthearted, you know, just something you can laugh at, you know, something to get you through your day, something positive, you know. But when Joe was doing this stuff, man, his podcast, his show, you know, and once again, he said this himself, and you can hear it, that he said he had to step away. He had to stop doing it because he was getting so frustrated and so fucking mad about the shit that was going on around him, and, you know, and just dumb shit like 20-fucking-year-olds getting shot up over a fucking handbag, and just the cops, you know, killing motherfuckers in the street, people not even doing that and just getting shot down and whatever, man. And he would just like, I would feel his anger, his pain, you know, just hearing him talk about shit like that, racial issues, you know, all that stuff. And a lot of that came back up on the Po' Boys podcast because they were talking about the Tulsa riots, which they never really talked about. I mean, Jody and Joe, they talked about it offline or whatever. And then he was like, I want Joe to come on so we can talk about it, you know, make people aware of what was going on. And they just got into, well, Joe got into so many other social issues and other stuff that they never really got on the topic. And it was just like, man. But that episode, you know, is really awakening. You know, I mean, ignorance can be bliss. And, you know, and I live in this bliss. I live in this ignorance because, you know, for 16 years, you know, I've been the fucking cleanup guy, you know, going to foreign countries and damn fucking shit up and damn fucking shit up and then turn right back around and rebuild shit that I fucked up and damn, you know, expecting shit to be cool, you know, shit, dealing with shit that don't even fucking concern me, you know, but you know, that's the crux of it. That's the profession I chose. I chose to be in the military, you know, so, you know, you raise your right hand and swear and all this other stuff, you know, this is your job. This is what you got to do, whether you like it or not. I mean, you can not like it, but there's consequences for your actions, which you signed a contract about, you know, USMC, you signed a motherfucking contract. But yeah, man, it's just, I stopped watching the news because of that shit. Cause I've said it many times, you know, anytime at the, you know, in the past, I would turn on the news and see, you know, some world crisis, some world issues. I was like, well, I know where I'm finna fucking go, you know, and lo and behold, here I am on the fucking plane, 18 hours, 20 hours, 19 hours, going to the motherfucking another country, doing whatever, you know, and I stopped watching the news because of this. You know, I don't actively search, you know, my local, you know, news anywhere. I don't damn read, you know, CNN post or whatever, Fox posts on Twitter and none of this other bullshit, you know, unless, you know, it just so happens to come across my feed. I don't actively look for this shit because to me, it's just like, there's nothing good on the news. There's motherfuckers getting shot, people getting robbed, you know, economic crisis, world in peril, and all this other bullshit. It's like, why would you want to invite that into your life, you know? But, you know, when Joe and Jody was talking about all this shit, you know, it's just like, do I just sit here and continue to be ignorant and not say nothing and just continue to do my thing? Which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. But, you know, maybe there should be somewhat of a change. I feel like, you know, I should make more of an effort to know about certain things, you know? And it's just like, it's funny because it's a running thing in my house, you know, between me and Mrs. B. Rob. It's like, I would see an article or catch a clip of something. And, you know, since I don't do that normally, I don't do that actively, I don't search for this stuff. Is, you know, there's something interesting come across my lap, you know, I bring it to Mrs. B. Rob and be like, hey, did you hear about this? And response, 98.9% of the time, like change, percent of the time is, oh, I know that already. Because she's in the fucking know. You know, she damn has alarms like on her phone, you know, to remind her to do shit. And then instead of it being your standard alarm, like do 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 do, you know, a tone or some shit, the motherfucking phone start telling her news articles and stories and shit. So, you know, she's always plugged in. She always actively reading shit, you know, locally and nationally and everything. So when I come across her with, hey, such and such did this today, and she's like, I know that already. And it's just like a bonus. It's like a treat for me for when I actually do find something interesting and I bring it to her. She's like, well, I didn't know that. And I'm like, yes, score one for me, motherfucker. Ha ha. You know, I finally know something that you don't know. And, you know, and she's a wife. She's a female, so she knows everything anyway. But, you know, it shouldn't be like that. I should, you know, be cognizant of the shit. I should be aware of this shit, you know, so I don't know, maybe I'll start making more of a conscious effort. And, you know, I've said it about this show. I mean, this is free form. Right now, everything that's coming out of my mouth into your ear holes right now is just off the top of my dome. You know, there's no notes in front of me. You know, it's just like, it's just coming out of me right now. And that's like, you know, random ramblings with Rob. And I feel like sometimes it's a hindrance to the show. Cause like I have a guest on here and here I am. I mean, stuff is just coming out of my head, and, you know, I try to be different, especially if it's somebody with a little bit of clout, some kind of stature or whatever. Cause I feel like if you're a movie star or just somebody of some celebrity, that you get those standard questions every day. Oh, you know, I mean, what got you into acting? And, you know, and I mean, that's going to be a common question anyway, because me personally, I'm looking for some parallels, you know, like what sparked your interest here, because, you know, I'm kind of interested in what you're doing. So I need to know, you know, how you feel about this from your standpoint. So that's going to be a standard question all the time. What got you to this point to why are you doing this? You know, shit, truth be told, I put a feel out there to Michael Jai White. He's been on the Wheelbarrow Full of Dicks internet radio program, and he's been on that movie show, 2 shows that I thoroughly enjoy podcast. And I was like, well, I kind of know these people. You know, we've shared dialogue. I've been on the Wheelbarrow Full of Dicks internet radio program before. And you know, I was like, if they can reach out to him and get him, you know, I mean, I kind of know them. I mean, maybe I can just name drop them or whatever. And I can get my foot in the door. I sent email to Michael Jai White to get him on the show. And I got a response back from his handling team. And, you know, it's probably going to be some other steps in between if I even hear back from him. But, you know, I'm optimistic, but at the same time, my hopes are not that high, you know. But if I was to get this man on this podcast, first of all, I'm going to geek the fuck out. Secondly, I probably get Miss B Rob on the line so she can hear his voice and talk with him a little bit off air, you know, of course. And that'll be something exclusive for the patrons of the show, which you could be a patron too if you go to randomrobcast.com and click the patron link, just like Glenn Abbott, Brandon McIntyre, and King HR. Plugs. It's my show. I can do what the fuck I want. But anyway, but I get this man on my show, and what the fuck we gonna talk about? You know, I kind of got a basic idea of where I want to take the conversation and everything, but like just even hearing him on 2 shows already, the Wheelbarrow Full of Dicks internet radio program and that movie show, the questions that, you know, you would normally ask has already been asked. You know, I already know the information. So for me to turn around and ask those same questions that other people have already asked, you know, that's the thing. I know you got the project out right now, the Outlaw Johnny Black movie they're trying to get made. So, I mean, that's going to be some point of contention there that we're going to have to bring this up and talk about that. And also it's going to be a time constraint thing because, you know, I don't know how long he's going to have to talk. And then I don't do good under pressure as far as these things go, because now there's so much shit going through my mind and I'm just trying to keep the time hack up in my head, and it kind of fucks me up sometime. But, you know, what do I say to this dude? You know, but if I had shit prepared, if I'd done some research, you know, that can go a different way. But I wouldn't say I'm lazy. Yeah, I'm lazy. But, you know, I don't feel it like it should be that. I don't feel like I should be a motherfucker with papers and notes being like, hey, this is your life. You know, in 1990, whatever, you did this and this and this and this and this and that and shit. So, you know, that's not how a conversation should work. I mean, I just really want him to be genuinely comfortable and we just talk some shit. You know, it's just like I was a guest on the Blockbuster Mentality podcast, you know, and everything. And, you know, those guys gave me an opportunity to be on their show and chit chat with them, which right now I should be in my motherfucking oh yeah, I was got sidetracked. Sorry, I should be in my motherfucking DMs on Twitter, trying to schedule some shit with them. I want to do a 3-part miniseries with them about their show. It's 3 parts because it's 2 hosts, and I'll do one with each of them, and then we'll do a triple threat match, all 3 of us on the same show, and just kind of talk about things and everything. I've done this before with the boys over there at the Just in Time podcast, and I feel like as far as multiple host podcasts go, I mean, I think it's good for their listeners to do things like this because, I mean, you get both sides of the tape. You got one guy with his story, one guy with this story, how they kind of meet in the middle, and then, you bring them both on, and we just kind of bullshit after that. And it was fun with the Just in Time guys because it was 3 different personalities or whatever, and it was just like the story of how they met. And damn fucking Korn, goddamn, talking about being a kid and crossing the border into fucking America and everything, running up to the motherfucking cops and going to jail and all kind of other crazy shit. So, I mean, that was fun for me because, I mean, I know these guys as internet personalities and everything, radio personalities or whatever, but I don't really know them. And it's just like how they were saying on the Blockbuster Mentality podcast, specifically, I think it was Dave. It's Ben and Dave, but I'm getting the fucking name. I'm probably getting the names confused. I do apologize. I mean, I've only met them just a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, it's just damn. He was saying, I mean, hopefully, we sit down, we do these interviews and everything, and you hope to pull a friend from this. Like every guest that I've had on this show, whether they've been a one-time guest or a repeat guest or whatever, I feel like on some level that, we're cool. I wouldn't say we're the best of friends, but, some of them some of the guests I've have more of a rapport with than others. Some I've only done the interview with them and I never heard from them since then. I retweet them, I retweet their stuff, I still show my support for them, but we haven't really fucking talked, and but still, I have respect for all of them, each and every guest that's been on the show and everything, and it's just like I genuinely want them to succeed. I'm getting tongue-tied. Succeed at whatever it is they're pursuing or trying to do or have ambitions for. And, I feel some kind of link, some kind of bond between us, even though that we may have sat here for 30 minutes, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just kind of jaw-jacked or just kind of unconsciously rambled at each other, or just they did the head nod up and down or whatever, and that be the case. And, really, I mean, I just look to pull some kind of, a relationship from it. I mean, not for personal gain, but if something was to come of it that way, I mean, that's cool, but, it's just, I don't know where I was going with that train of thought, but it's just like anybody that's been on the show, I look to you as in some kind of way, you're a form of inspiration to me, whether you was just a random motherfucker that I pulled off the goddamn internet just to talk to. Still, I mean, you intrigued me at some point. It's just like, why do you do this? What's up with this? We interact enough on Twitter, why don't we actually talk about some shit? It was like Laz, we conversate over freaking wrestling all the time on Twitter and everything, and I forgot how it went. He either shot out a filler to me or I reached out to him. It's like, motherfucker, just come on the show so we can talk. All this goddamn 140 characters, 280 character bullshit or whatever. We can actually get some audio between the both of us, and we can just sit here, chill the fuck out, and talk and everything. Goddamn Nate the Great. Goddamn another guy. We kind of bond mutually over wrestling as well. And I've heard him whenever we were doing the pipe bomb with McCool, he would constantly come in with questions for us to answer on the show and everything. You know, that's kind of why we dubbed him Nate the Great, because we would get the most, you know, interaction as far as the podcast from Nate. And I was like, dog, me and Nate need to talk. Get Nate on the motherfucking podcast. And we had a good fucking time. You know, it's just things like that. It's just the people that you interact with. You know, I feel like at some point I need to have them on the show so we could talk. Even Instagram, because, you know, outside of Twitter, Instagram is like my main jam or whatever. You know, I walk around Walmart and everything, and I do my little vlogs or whatever the fuck you want to call them. And there's people that I follow on Instagram that I feel are intriguing, interesting, because, I mean, Twitter, you know, is words on a device. You know, you can put whatever you want on there, but Instagram is just all pictures and everything, and people post interesting pictures of, you know, where they are, what they eat. You know, I'm not so much into the food unless it's a sponsorship opportunity. Speaking of food, do you like bland chicken? No, the fuck you don't. You want some herbs and spices on that motherfucker. Sponsored by Hooks, Rubs, and Spices is this show. I know I said that weirdly, and, you know, it kind of ruined the flow of my sponsored spot right here. But Hooks, Rubs, and Spices, you know, great blends of herbs and spices. How many times can I say that shit? But if you go to Etsy.com and you type in Hooks, Rubs, and Spices, or you go to hooksrubsandspices.etsy.com, you can find a lovely array of seasonings for your meats and vegetables and everything else that you put seasonings on. And you know what? If you go there and at checkout, if your order is $6 or more, you can put in the promo code 3RSHOW and get you a motherfucking 10% discount on some delicious, savory herbs and spices. That was a plug, man. I did that shit during the show. Oh, man. And that's another thing that I'm looking forward to. I mean, eventually there's more sponsorship opportunities. You know, I'm getting paid in product right now, but I would eventually like to turn a profit on that shit, which, you know, hey, man, I'm grateful for whatever opportunities that I'm given, whether it be guest spots on shows, like most recently, but the Blockbuster Mentality, and, you know, people just having enough confidence in me to be like, hey, I'm going to be a patron to your show, like Brandon McIntyre, Glenn Abbott, and King H. Damn, I'm getting emotional, getting tongue-tied, and King Ajar. And even for Hooks, Rubs, and Spices, and in some ways Vape Panda, and people just to, you know, have that confidence in me to be like, hey, man, put the brand on your back, you know, shout us out, you know, dish out them promo codes, you know, help us, and, you know, we got your back. You know, I mean, that's a good feeling and everything. And, you know, I say this all the fucking time, whether it be on this podcast, other people's podcasts. You know, I've been making it a real point, if I'm on anybody else's show, that, you know, whenever they give me the opportunity to sign off, I'm plugging their show, my show, in every podcast that's out there. You know, whether you just do it once a week, every fucking day, once a month, every other week, however you do your podcast, it's just like you do it for some kind of interaction, some kind of, you know, I don't know, just some morsel of praise, I guess. Because, I mean, I do this because I like it. Here I am. Got to be to work early ass in the morning. Now we done rolled into fucking Tuesday morning. This episode was supposed to have been out Sunday, but I told you my woes, my third world problems. And, you know, I'm here. I mean, I know I've said at some places that I feel like this is an obligation because I do have the patrons, the 3 people that support this show. You know, I kind of feel obligated to do it, but like, even if they weren't there, you know, supporting monetarily or whatever, or, you know, showing their support that way, I would still be doing this, you know? So, I mean, it's not an obligation. It's a labor of love. You know, it's something that I started over 2 years ago that I've been keeping up consistently for 250 And what is this? 25, 24 episodes, 23 episodes? I don't fucking know. And, I just think it's fun, man. The interacting with people. I wish I can get more of that. Because, if I put a question out there, I expect people to answer it. If I do a contest like I'm doing right now, I would like for people to participate. I'm trying to give you free shit, God damn it. Right now, I got I was supposed to do the poll this week. I was gonna pick 2 people from Instagram, 2 people from Twitter to get them some hooks, rubs, and spices. Get them to hook up on hooks, rubs, and spices. Free of charge. Sponsor allowed me to give 2 sample packets away for 2 Twitter followers and 2 Instagram followers. And I was going to do that this week, but I decided to put it off another week. I'll put the plugs out there. But if you're on Twitter, tweet hooks, rubs, and spices and show them a picture of your grilling setup. Hashtag freaking hooks, rubs, and spices on Instagram and show your grilling setup. And, I'll pick 2 people from Instagram. I got the post on my Instagram profile. I got the post on my freaking Twitter at 3R Show, at 3R Show 2. That's TOO at It's B Rob. So, look at that, man. I'm trying to give you free shit. Go to vapepanda.com if you into vaping and all that cool shit. You can get 25% off if you use the promo code 3R Show. So that's another way of me kind of giving to you for, giving to me and whatnot. Handed out some digital downloads to atone for my tardiness with this episode. So they're out there in the wild. I think 2 people already snagged them up. Is usually a first come, first serve basis and whatnot. And hell, what the hell that I got up here? Shit, I'll do one right now. I got a redeem code right now here for Justice League. And if you go to freaking, what is it? WB.com/redeem movie and you enter this code, you get a free digital download for Justice League. I'm pretty sure this works on iTunes as well or whatever. But once again, you go to WB.com/redeem movie and you enter this code C7X9HT29. What more can I do? I'm trying to give shit away for free. I barely get any traction on that. And I'm not really mad about it, but I just like when I'm doing this, I'm recording, I'm just saying shit that comes to my brain. What the fuck do I need to do?